Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Point and Click Adventurers. My name is Michael, also known as YakWaxLips, and I'm here with my good friend Turian Shepard to talk all about adventure games. So, how are you today, Turian?
Very good, thank you. Yes, enjoying the cooler weather now after the 40 odd degree heat we had
Yeah,
earlier in the week. So, how about you?
yeah, exactly the same. It was a bit insane, wasn't it? Like
It
I
was.
know you're on top of the game. You like stack a few videos up, so your videos have been pretty much on point. I
Yeah.
haven't had anything out for like a week, just because I recorded in this office and it was 39 degrees in the office, which is just yeah, it's currently 24, so that's a difference that it makes. Yeah, it's been apart from the heat, it's been it's been, let's face it, it's been non-productive. I'm just flat out on the sofa like that, going just get cooler, get cooler. So there's been very little in terms of content on my channel, and also just playing games in general. It's been a bit of a down a couple of weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
So you been playing anything recently?
I have a little bit, as you say, I've got a lot of stuff sort of built up, a bit of a backlog. So I've been playing a little bit of stuff in my spare time, but it's mostly been just recording
Yeah.
videos. Sam and Max Save the World has been the main one that I've been playing,
How's that going?
which really good actually. I've
Yeah.
completed the first episode of season one, so I
Yeah.
think there's 6 for season one. I believe
Yeah.
it's just really good. They've nailed the Sam and Max vibe in it. I think it's very well done, and obviously Max is just completely insane, and I love
Yeah.
it. It's just
Yeah.
constant, just those little one-liners. It's just really well written.
Yeah. This it's a game that I've not played yet. I played the first one. In fact, Summer Max, the hit and run. Summer Max hit and run. That's what it's called, isn't it?
Hit a road.
Hit the road. That's I know. I didn't think hit and run does not sound right, but
You're
something that would
thinking
happen.
the
Yeah,
Simpsons hit and run
that's the
probably,
one. Yeah,
which is a very good game to be fair.
yeah. I got stuck on that in the 90s, and I didn't finish it until a couple of years back. So yeah, but yeah, Sam and Max are great characters. Are you going to be playing the new one? You know, the 3D VR one at all?
I don't know. I mean, I don't. Do you mean is it the virtual
Yeah,
reality one?
yeah,
Yeah,
that one.
I've
Yeah,
sort of I've seen footage of it. I don't really have any VR tech myself, not at the
no,
moment.
no,
But that might change because of Colossal Cave Adventure,
yeah,
obviously. So I might do. I have seen a couple of reviews of the Sam and Max one, and they're a bit hit and miss from what
yeah,
I've seen. Like they just little mini games. It's apparently quite funny, but the sort of thing you play once and go, oh, that was good. Yeah. And then maybe don't
yeah,
ever play. I think it's more geared towards kids just to, they've got the little dartboard and you can throw the darts at the dartboard and things. So
yeah.
it's,
Oh, well, that's a shame. Anyone else who
yeah.
has actually played it, let us know in the comments whether it's worth it. I've not really seen anything apart from knowing that it's out. I've not really seen anything too much about it. As soon as the word VR came on that, I just kind of lost interest.
Yeah.
I think that's just me being a purist, to be honest. It's not pixel art.
So, yeah. No, I mean, it's nice to actually see. I mentioned this earlier in the week. Actually, I did a video on the Colossal Cave reimagined,
Yeah,
as it's now known. And it is nice to see adventure games starting to go into the VR space because it's actually quite a quickly growing part of the gaming industry. I think VR. So it's
yeah,
nice to see adventure games getting a bit of a mention in there.
yeah. Yeah, I know I was all just like no pixel art. That was obviously
Yeah.
a joke. Yeah. It just I do like the idea of that. My issue with VR is, and I think I don't know whether it's just me, but I suffer really badly with motion sickness.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I can't travel far in cars unless I'm driving it. I have to take the tablets if I'm on a plane, all that kind of stuff. So, like the idea of like just basically playing a game but feeling sick at the same time, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never really done it. I think I'm judging it before I've done it, but yeah, but maybe in the future. Again, the equipment as well. It's a couple of £100, and I don't want to chuck that on it and then realize that it's not for me. So
That's it.
I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see. So yeah, Simon Max, anything else going on with you?
Broken Sword 2 a little bit. I finally managed to die in that, which is
Yeah.
nice.
Can you die in this? Oh, what? Is it the remastered one you're
It's the
doing? Isn't it?
remaster. Yeah, you can. Funnily
You
enough,
can
you
die.
can. So the
Ah,
remaster of the second game, I've been told, is basically the first game with updated visuals. It has like the little comic book
yeah,
faces for the
yeah,
dialogue and things. So they didn't do what they did in the first game, which is where they just changed everything, took the deaths out, took the blood out,
yeah.
basically destroyed the game. I mean, I've started watching your playthrough of the original, and I'm
Mm,
thinking, oh, this is very, very different to what I've experienced.
yeah.
So Yeah, I do prefer the sort of text being on the screen, like with the different colors, sort of classic adventure game style, rather than the comic book faces and the little speech bubbles are quite nice. They look good, but it doesn't feel like, it's again me being a purist now. I like it when it's the old style text on the screen in different colors for different characters.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I see why they did it. Like I know we've covered this before previously, but like to play it on a mobile, I think was pretty cool with the little portrait things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll always go back to the originals. So yeah, Broken Sword, Sam and Max, all the classics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else, or has that kind of been your week?
That's mostly been my week for what I've been playing. I did make a couple of Monkey Island related videos because we had some good stuff from Monkey Island. Very excited by that. I don't know about you. We saw the Guybrush walking his way through the docks on Melee. I thought it looked brilliant.
Yeah,
really liked it.
I really like that as well. I know it just the colors, the music, I know in Escape we did go back to Melee, but seeing the docks from the same point of view but updated with the new Guybrush, I thought it was ace. I accidentally created a reel on my Instagram of that little clip. I've never really used reels. I've used it in Instagram was where YakWaxLips started, and I'm trying to evolve it a little bit. So I thought, I'll try out a reel. And I created this little thing of basically took Dave Grossman's thing that he put out on Twitter and made it into a reel. And then I didn't want to share it. I was just wanted to save it to my camera phone and all that, and accidentally clicked share. And it posted it. I was like, oh god damn it! And it was up there. And I thought, well, it's out now, I might as well. It's been viewed nearly 10,000 times. And this was 24 hours ago, just over 24 hours ago. So it's definitely, there's a lot of interest in it. It looks awesome. Yeah. What's the hashtag? Do you remember what the hashtag was that they used?
Oh, Monkey Island Monday.
Monkey Island Mondays, yeah. So if you don't know that, type in Monkey Island Monday, because every Monday, Ron or Dave are going to share something new until the game's released.
Yeah, I wonder if we will get a release date or something on one of those episodes.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe in the next month or so.
Yeah, possibly.
There's not really been anything, has there, for a release date yet? It's very closely guarded secret at the moment. I saw Dominic Armato actually said he knows literally nothing. He's watching the updates come through as well, like everybody else is, and going, oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had a lot of comments from people actually who said, you know what, I didn't like the art, but now that I've seen that little 10-second clip of Guybrush walking through there, it actually works.
Yeah.
And of course, the usual. I don't know if you've noticed, there's this sort of phrase going around, it looks like a crappy Flash game. And I keep seeing that everywhere. I was just thinking, where's that come from? It looks nothing like a Flash game.
Yeah, I just think it's just another stick that the haters want to beat it with.
Yeah, it's like they've latched onto that phrase and that, yes, I'm gonna write that on everything. It's a crappy Flash game. It's not.
Yeah. I put a tweet out the other day saying, like, what's in scale between 1 and 100, what's your how excited are you for the release of Return of Monkey Island? And I was just like, and I'm on 1,000.
Yeah.
And then loads of people were just like, yeah, 1 billion, all that kind of thing. There were a few people saying, 0 and -10 and all that. But then still, there were some people just like, exactly that. I'm not playing it because it looks like trash. It's a crappy Flash game. I'm not even going to watch it on YouTube. And it's like, all right, okay, fair enough.
So miss out if you want to miss out. Like you're only harming yourself really there.
Yeah. I think like every podcast we're going to do, there's always going to be a little snippet of Monkey Island in there.
I think so, yeah. Especially now with these weekly updates coming out now, there's always something to talk about, which is good. Helps build the hype a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to add some more Monkey Island videos to my repertoire, I think.
Yeah.
I keep pushing out the old ones that I've got to make some new ones.
Spread the word.
Yeah. Right.
It's good though. It's exciting to see so many people, jumping on. I've seen a lot of people playing Monkey Island for the first time. Never ever played it, and they've started playing it, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch or just tweeting saying, "Finally played Monkey Island today."
Yeah.
It's nice to see it getting out there to new people who've never played the games.
This goes back to the very first interview we did with Tom Hardridge. If you haven't watched that interview, then I'll leave a link somewhere on the screen, I guess, where he said that people will go into Monkey Island, return to Monkey Island, or they might start to play the old ones. They've never played it. And then off the back of that, they will go, okay, well, I'll investigate this point and click genre and then find smaller indie games. And I think it's, I think it's great.
Yeah, it's good. I think you've got a video as well, haven't you? Is it something like games similar to Monkey Island? Something along those lines, isn't it? Which is
Yeah,
pretty.
I got a couple of those. Yeah, it was that was when I did my hardcore research. I was just like putting those things on the Facebook forums, going like, "Oh, what games do you like that are similar to Monkey Island?"
Yeah.
With secretly in my head going, "I'm going to make a video out of all of these answers."
Yeah.
And I did, and it's probably one of the most viewed videos. I've done two. I've done like I think it was like the 10 games, and they're all quite big games. So you've got like King's Quest on there, Broken Sword, Siberia, the bigger ones that like casual gamers might not know of. And then I did a second one, more alternative games, which is more of the indie style ones. So one of which I will actually mention later on when we have a chat about what we're going to chat about today.
We are. That's quite well positioned into the topic today, actually, which is not games that everyone knows about. It's more hidden gems or unusual adventure games that people might not have heard of.
Yeah, it's going to be a. I really struggled to get some down that I could remember, because it tends to be you play the games, and if they are like ones that not a lot of people have heard of, especially going back in the 90s, they they just kind of filter out your brain and just forget that they exist. So I've done a bit of research for a couple of games, plus one that's on this list. Okay. So before we dive into that conversation, just a few things that I've been up to. I remember at the end of the last episode where you asked me what I've got planned for the channel, for my channel, and I mentioned going to Wikipedia and typing in adventure games, and I'm going to play all the adventure games. I've started doing it. I've started from Mystery House, which I know in the last episode I called Mystery Mansion, which was incorrectly credited as the first graphical adventure. There was a few more before that. I've been told several times on Twitter. Thank you, everybody. I do realize that. But it's the one that is attributed to the start of the graphical adventure genre, I guess. So I found a copy to play, and I played it on my phone actually via an app called Frots, because I couldn't find it anywhere to play online. I'm sure there is some places.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had a text adventure app on my phone called Frots, which is FROTZ, and you can just play loads of classic text adventures. And I found a copy of Mystery House on there. So I've sat there for 2 evenings, screenshotted every single time I died, screenshotted and put it on Twitter. I know I mentioned Twitter quite a lot on here, but that's what I basically like live by. So if you're not following me or Turian, then go ahead. And it was for those that don't know, it's the very first Sierra game. Roberta wrote it and Ken made it. They started in December of 1979 and it was released in May of 1980. And it's basically you turn up at a mystery house and there's loads of people there, and one by one people die, and you have to find out who the killer is and escape. It's very, very basic compared to today's, but yeah, that was what I at the end of the last episode I was like, I'm going to actually start this, and yeah, it was really good fun. I spent like 2 days doing that, good interaction with the community over on Twitter, and then so I did that, and then I was like, I dived straight into then the next one on Wikipedia, which was The Wizard and the Princess, again by Sierra, and that I'm currently playing on browser. You can play on browser on a website. I can't remember what the website's called. This one is full color, and there's a lot more going on, but there's a lot more deaths, and you also in the version I'm playing, you also can't save. So brilliant. So every time you die, you basically have to start from. So I've got about halfway through that at the minute. So, and all of these ones, the plan is for this is to have videos for every single one if I can be bothered. So that's kind of like been that's been my month, I guess, playing those 2 games, and then obviously like catching up on Broken Sword. Like I say, dipping in and out of Broken Sword because of the weather. It's just too hot.
Yes.
So anyway, back to games that not a lot of people know exist, or brackets games that you may have played as a kid but forgotten about, / is this really a point and click game / games you might not know of. Right, I think we'll take it in turns. Do you reckon? How many have you got on your list?
I've got 3 on my list that I want to mention.
That's good, because I've got 3. I was thinking you're going to be like 17. I'm like, no, crap, I've got 3. No. So yeah, if you start, and then we'll see if we've each played it and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, or whether we've said the same ones.
Yeah, that'd be
which
fun.
is always possible. One you might remember, might not remember, from 1996, the Pink Panther Passport to Peril. Did you play that one?
Didn't know. I didn't know that was even an adventure game.
A Pink Panther point and click adventure game. Visuals similar-ish to Day of the Tentacle, that sort of cartoony, odd style.
Yeah.
It was really an educational game for kids more than anything else.
Right.
So you essentially got taught about different cultures and different countries. So you play as the Pink Panther, and you'd have to go to China or India or Australia, just solve puzzles. And it was just a really cool little fun kids adventure game, which I think get overlooked a little bit. I remember playing a lot of them at school as a kid. I don't know if you...
Yeah. Coming back to it now, is it a series, like a series of games? I know it was a cartoon and all that, but was it I don't know, series of games? Because I've there's slight memories there. Like I said at the start, like there's little things going off, going actually kind of maybe. I don't think I played it, but I remember maybe seeing something in Amiga format or whatever it was.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember. I think it was on Windows 95 we had in school.
Yeah.
So. It would have been around then. I think it was one game. All of the countries were in one game, but they might have done a follow-up. I'm not sure. There might have been sort of a couple of games. But yeah, the Pink Panther Passport to Peril, that one's called. I think you can probably find it somewhere online if anyone's interested in playing it. It's relatively easy, but pretty cool little fun game.
Cool. Let us know down in the comments all these games that we're going to mention, if you've played them, and if they're... I mean, was it any good?
I remember it being good. I mean, I haven't played it since I was a little kid, so I would probably have to revisit it now. But as a kid, I enjoyed it. I mean, I liked the Pink Panther anyway. I grew up watching that, so the fact that it was a game was like, yes, Pink Panther game. So
that sounds cool. Oh, I'll have to seek that out. All right, well, that's one ticked off the list. My first one is a game from 1994 called Universe. Do you remember this one?
I have not played that one, no.
Okay. It's from Core, and they might be called Core Designs. Their first game was Curse of Enchantia. Was it Curse of Enchantia? Curse to... I remember I played this game to death. Curse of... I have got the Wikipedia thing up. Curse of Enchantia. Have you played Curse of Enchantia at all? That was like a bigger one. That was a bigger one. That was like 93 maybe. Curse of Enchantia you wake up in a dungeon, and you have to escape, and you're a guy called Bill or something like that. I can't remember, but basically you end up doing adventure game things and all that. There was a lot of actiony style things, like a lot of timed events. There was no text at all. You couldn't speak to anyone. It was all symbols, so there was no dialogue in it at all, from what I can remember, and it was fairly short. But it had a lasting impression, and I know it's one that I often put up on my Instagram, and people get a good reaction from it. It was slightly on the comedy side. Anyway, this is not about Curse of Enchantia. The sequel, or so-called sequel, was supposed to be a sequel, was called Universe, and again, it comes from Core. And the idea was, it was going to be a sequel based, and it was going to be the protagonist of Curse of Enchantia's brother, called, I've got on here somewhere, called Boris. And he is on the search for his sister Jenny, who has been abducted, I think, in space. So Curse of Enchantia is like this mysterious fantasy world, and then a universe is in space. However, somebody from the company left. I'm not too sure who, and the story changed really quite significantly, and it changed so much so that they decided to cut ties from Curse of Enchantia, because it was originally called Curse of Enchantia 2, and just rename it Universe and do away with all the backstory and just have it as its own standalone game. However, there are still threads that connect the two. I've put it on here because it sucked balls. Like, I'm looking at it now, and it's just like it got relatively good reviews. Like, I remember playing this for what felt like hours, and I could only really get after 10-15 minutes into the game. I would have been 10, 11 or 12, 10, 11, it was 94, so I would have been about 11. And at this point, I'd played from 1990 for like a good 4 or 5 years worth of adventure games. And when this came out, I was actually quite excited, because it was one of the first games on the Amiga to have 256 colors. And so it looked awesome, and the sound, from what I can remember, the soundtrack was really good as well. Very atmospheric-y. But there was a bit right at the start where you dropped onto a moon or an asteroid or something, and then you have to jump, and you have to time it. And I can never time it right. And then you have to wait for the asteroid to come around, and the asteroid's like,
very slowly,
a million, like minus million miles an hour. And and then finally you end up on this like weird town thing, town kind of space village thing. And I just didn't know what to do. Anyway, I went back when I was coming up with ideas on this. That was the first one that came in. So I have had a look at it, and there's not a lot about it. They have got their own Wikipedia page. But what's interesting about this as well is that Core, the game after this, they only created 2 adventure games, Curse of Enchantia and Universe. And then the next game was Tomb Raider. And they went on to create the Tomb Raider franchise. So I think it's just really interesting transition to go from those 2 point-and-click adventure games, and then suddenly, here's like a genre-defining heroine next, and then go on for the next 30 years. So that was I played it on the Amiga, but looking at here, it's been released on the Amiga CD. I never had an Amiga CD. That would have been awesome. And I think that's it. DOS. Oh no, it was released on DOS as well. But yeah, if anyone else has played that, I actually know one of the artists and that worked on Curse of Enchantia does follow me on Twitter, so I might ping him and say, "Did you work on this as well?" Be awesome to have a quick chat about it, and maybe 30 years later replay it and see if it actually works.
Yeah, maybe you misjudged it as a kid. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah,
possible.
Yeah.
So my second one, there's a lot of franchise ones I've noticed, sort of ones that are spin-offs from TV shows and movies and things like that, which people just didn't seem to know ever existed.
Yeah.
I haven't actually played this one. It's been recommended to me quite a few times though. It's Beavis and Butthead in Virtual Stupidity. Did you play that one?
I played the demo. I never played the full game. And the demo of it was it wasn't point and click. It was basically from a bird's eye view, and you see the back of one of the guys' heads, and you have to go left and right and spit on people from the top of this building, and pigeons fly across, and you have to spit at pigeons and all that. And apparently that's like a little mini game within the game. So if people played that demo and then bought the game, they would have been completely surprised.
Misleading. Yeah. So that came out in 1995, and the whole point of it basically is that you're trying to get into Todd's gang. Do you remember Todd from Beavis and Butthead?
No, I never really. I did go to the cinema to watch a film of it, but I never actually watched Beavis and Butthead. I was I was a 12-year-old kid at that point. My mum and dad would be like, "You're not watching that nonsense."
It's one of those. I think it's one of those things that you only had that game if you were a kid and your mum and dad didn't know what Beavis and Butthead were.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously I can't say too much because I've not played it, but apparently the comedy in it is fantastic. It's from what I've read, people remember it as being one of the funniest adventure games of its time. So
I've heard that the puzzles are actually pretty good as well. Like you say, there are a lot of movie and TV tie-ins, one of which is coming up next for me. But a lot of them can be trash. But from what I've heard of, this is pretty good. Yeah,
well worth playing if you haven't given it a go. Look it up. Let us know what you think.
Not sure where you can get it from. I mean, I'm not sure whether you can get any of these games like legally as such.
Yes, that's it. We're not going to encourage people to do anything.
We're not. No.
Illegal. No.
Yeah. Right. So we've gone to two to you, one to me. So my second one is again a film tie-in, and this is one that I did have and I did play, and this is Hook. Have you played Hook, the video game? I have
not. I've seen you posting about it, and I had no idea that Hook. I love that movie. It was fantastic as a kid.
Rufio.
That's it. Yeah, great. Just an absolutely brilliant film.
Yeah.
And I had no idea until I saw you post about it on Instagram that there was an adventure game.
Yeah, it's really good. There's they've done what a lot of films and TVs did in that era, and that is they released several different kinds of games. So if you had the NES or SNES, maybe it would have been a platformer. But on the PC, it was a point-and-click adventure game, and it was a good one. I never completed it though because I had a cracked copy. My dad used to get games off his mate at work. Every week we'd have different games through, and this had a protection thing on it, so you could play it for a certain amount of time, and then when you got to a certain point, you're supposed to pick up a cup. But in my version, that cup wasn't there,
Right.
and it was a protection thing, so you had to
Yeah.
go out and buy another one, the original one, which we never bought games. But yeah, so the hook is you play as Peter Banning, I think his name is, and you wake up in Neverland, and you have to. It's the same plot as the film, basically.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So you play as Robin Williams, and yeah, it's what's good about this game. It was about 95 again, I want to say. Whoa, no, 91.
Wow.
Really?
Okay.
I'm looking at this game. I thought it was a bit later than that. So yeah, the graphics for this game for 91 apparently were yeah, really, really quite bright and striking.
Yeah.
And that drew me in. And I went to the cinema to see Hook, and I loved it as well. So I played it to death. You've got the massive crocodile clock thing in there, and
yeah,
there's quite a lot of fun characters. It's not played straight, so it's not. It's played as a comedy, so it's quite funny. And yeah, it was a great shame that I never got to finish it because of that darn cup. So I did play it, and I only recently, I said last couple of years, found out about that. So
yeah,
the amount of times I went back to that game to try and figure out what to do, obviously no internet back then, you didn't know. So you just go on and be like, what do I do now? And it would have been hours and hours of my life wasted walking around when I wouldn't have been able to finish it anyway because of a cup. But yeah, I've seen a few. I haven't watched the full video, but I know there is a full playthrough on YouTube of the entire game, and that video is 38 minutes long. So it's a short game.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely go and have a look at that one. Again, I don't know where you can get it these days unless it's original hardware. But yeah, Hook. Let's have a look. That was from. I don't think I mentioned it. I think it was from Ocean. Yeah, Ocean Software. They created some great games.
Yeah, and I imagine it was probably, if it was 91, not voice acting.
No, it wasn't voice acting. Right, let's have a look up here. Yeah, 92 it was. 92. So yeah, there wasn't any voice acting. And what it did have, and I remember it had quite a few. The intro had some really good looking close up cut scenes. I think Tinkerbell was on there, and Hook's and Peter's face. Yeah, so for the time it was it was pretty good. I don't know how it did commercially, but I remember having it, and it was great.
Yeah, it's almost a shame really that they didn't have voice acting, because it would have been pretty cool to have Robin Williams voicing Peter Pan.
Yeah, that would have been good. Dustin Hoffman as Hook. I don't think I even got to meet Hook in my game.
Right.
I think it broke too soon.
Well, you got to play a little bit. It gives you a chance to go back and play it now, though, doesn't it?
I know, yeah. That's why I'm looking at all these games, and the Pink Panther one that you've mentioned. I'm like, oh god, it's just more games.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the already like 200 game long list is just getting bigger and bigger all the time.
Too much.
So my last one is one that I've played. It's actually one that I really like. It's a great adventure game in my opinion. It's called Hotel Dusk Room 215, and it was on the Nintendo DS. Don't know if that's one you ever came across.
I have, and I had it, and I played it, and I totally agree with you. I had about 4 games for the DS. I had Brain Training, I think Tetris, one of the Marios, and Hotel Dusk.
That's it, yeah. And the other one was my brother's, actually, Nintendogs. That was pretty much the DS sort of set, wasn't it? Those games.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's brilliant. Like a noir adventure where you use the little stylus to walk around and solve puzzles, and you're like an ex-NYPD detective who is now a salesman, goes to this hotel to sell some bits and pieces, and uncovers this big conspiracy about something that happened to his partner back in the days when he was a cop. And it's just a really, really good mystery story.
Yeah. I did play it. I can't remember too much about it. I remember the art style was really cool. It was like hand-drawn style, and the music. I think there was a sequel.
There was, yes.
I never played.
I think was it Last Window or something. I didn't play it, but I've heard there was a sequel, right. And there was due to be a third one, I think, and then the company went bust, I believe. I heard.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So we never got that, but yeah, it's a really, really if you got a Nintendo DS, I mean, it's pretty much a collector's item now. The game, you have to pay a lot to buy it, but yeah, if you can get your hands on it, well worth a play, I think. Yeah, I've played it countless times. It never gets boring. There's some really intuitive puzzles in there as well.
It's strange that they didn't, because they do port a lot of those games to other systems, or like you say, just kind of, I suppose because the company went bust, they can't really do anything more with it. But yeah, just like continue the IP somewhere else. But yeah, that was a good call, good shout on that. If you haven't played that, definitely play that. And let us know down below if the sequel's any good as well, because I've not played it. That's another topic we can cover as well, like games that aren't on the PC. Like,
yes,
we can talk about. Obviously, you've got Scooby-Doo Mysteries on the Mega Drive or Genesis for you American listeners. Was amazing, but it was only available on the Mega Drive. The SNES version was the wrong version. Again, go back to Hook. It was the action platformer. You get it on the Mega Drive, it's literally a point and click with the verbs on the bottom. And then all the other ones as well on the DS and Game Boy. Was there any on the Game Boy? I think I'm stretching there.
Yeah, no, I don't think there were on the Game Boy, but yeah, there are some unexpected ones on different consoles. Obviously, the Switch now is the big one that seems to get all the adventure games, isn't it? So yeah. The DS did have quite a few, I think.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we can come up with some kind of list and have a chat about that in the future. So my third one is actually, I decided not to delve back into history. I thought, let's bring to light a newer game.
Okay. And
this is one of the games that is on one of those videos that we mentioned previously. And this is called, I'm going to need to remember the title of it. It's called Joyfest Episode 1, Martin's Secret Recipe. Have you heard that?
I have not. That sounds very interesting.
Yeah. Early on in my YakWaxLips career, it was always been my plan. It's always been my plan to take this full time. It always will be. And, it's what I love, this kind of thing. And I'd love to, even though, nowhere near at the minute. Side note, we've both got Patreons, support us both. Anyway, these guys, Sandwagon Games, were the first people to contact me and say, "Oh, I've seen you've got this channel. Can you review our game?" Okay. And I did a little dance, just like, "Yes, I've made it." So I played it, and it's very much a Curse of Monkey Island and inspired game. It was out in 2020, so just 2 years ago. And yeah, art style is very much like Curse. A lot of the locations, they even have like the map where you come back. It does look quite a lot like the island on Curse. The main guy is a shaggy pirate with blonde hair, kind of looks a little bit like Guybrush.
Yeah.
However, so I went into it thinking, okay, this is good, but it's really good fun. Like, if you take away the fact that it's heavily inspired by Curse of Monkey Island, you peel all those layers back, you look at the story of, basically, there's Joyfest is the name of the guy. His name is Joyfest Tidesman, and he's been away on adventures for ages, and he comes back to his home island, and everybody's disappeared, and he's got to feel like, well, not disappeared, but everyone's relocated elsewhere. So there's a few people left, and your story is, why have they left? The game's only about 3 hours long, and it's called Joyfest Episode 1. So there might be more episodes, but I don't know how well the game did for them. And Sandwagon Games have gone a bit quiet since then, so I don't know whether they're still going.
Right.
But the puzzles are really good fun. There's a lot of locations. It's fully voice acted, pretty well. I'm not sure where they're from, Sandwagon Games. So some of the dialogue can be a little bit stilted due to translation. But I mean, that's, again, I keep coming back to the fact of Curse. Like, you take that away, it's a really good, solid game. So I know you can get that right now. It's on Steam. I'll leave a link down below. So if you want to go and have a look at that, absolutely. So yeah, that's we could do a whole episode about new games that no one's heard of, because there are 29 coming out each week.
Yes, it's unbelievable, isn't it? I was actually going to mention one that I saw the other day. I don't know if you saw the trailer for it. It's called Children of Enoch.
I did, yes.
Did you see it? That looks really cool.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so it's set in 2179, and it's by Evil Pug Games, who I believe are in Belgium. And it's like a futuristic humanity have abandoned Earth and moved onto this space station, been on the space station for like 100 years, and then all chaos breaks out, and you're sort of living on and playing on the space station. It just looks like almost like an Expanse sort of thing. I don't know if you're a fan of the Expanse, but it feels like that sort of vibe to it. It looks really, really interesting. The trailer's great.
Yeah, I did. I watched that, and that is on my list to feature on Trailer Talk coming up soon. That looks good. There's a lot of futuristic, cyberpunky, noiristic games coming out, or that have come out in the past couple of weeks. It seems to be a big. It's like about 2 years ago. There was a whole thing where every game had an animal and an animal detective in it, and all the games were great. And then that's kind of died down. And then what's coming up now is like cyberpunk noirish kind of thing.
Yeah.
But again, they're all great. And this one looks really good. I'm excited to follow this. Was there a release date for that? Do you know?
Not yet. No, it just says to be announced. So I think they've literally just put up the Steam page and the trailer at the moment. But yeah, one to keep an eye on, I think, from what I've seen on the trailer.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, so that Children of Enoch looks pretty cool. Because I've been out of action due to heat, I'm useless. I'm like a white man in England. It gets above 30 degrees. I'm like, that's it, I'm done. I don't really have any other news as such, or release dates. We might have mentioned it in the previous episode, but Lord Winklebottom Investigates is the one that's on my radar that's coming out in about a week today, I think. And we did actually chat to Charlotte about the game, so that'll be on next week's episode. Or next episode, whether it's next week or not, we don't know, because we're not very organized. In fact, you know what? I'm going to take that back. Turian, you are on the ball. You've got videos out every day. You're always just like you're on it all the time, and I'm just like, oh no, I suppose I've got to do a video today. We've got this. Like, you're very organized.
Well, it's whatever works for you, really, isn't it? Sometimes I like to be quite organized, but not everyone likes it. So I think sometimes people don't like feeling restrained, like I've got to get an episode out every day and I've got to do this. So whatever works best for you is the way to do it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, because there might be a time in the summer holidays I'm just like, that's it, I've had it, done.
Yeah.
Like we're having 6 weeks off with the kids, do nothing. So that, I haven't got any other news. Do you have any other news or games that are coming out that you know of?
I don't know. The big news was the Monkey Island news that we already covered earlier in the episode. So, but I did speak to Ruben Lopez from Aruma Studios about Intruder in Antaconia, which came out a couple of weeks ago now.
Yeah, awesome. Shall we dive into that interview and then discuss it afterwards?
Yes.
Let's do it. Right, here is that interview.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode's guest interview. I am joined by Ruben Lopez from Aruma Studios, who are currently working on a game called Intruder in Antaconia. Ruben, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
No, it's good to have you on here. We've been meaning to do this for a little while, so it's nice to finally get you onto the podcast. Let's start with Intruder in Antaconia. Where are you sort of up to? I know you've got a release date very, very, very soon. But why don't you give us a bit of an update as to, all about the game? Tell us what it's about, what players can expect when they actually play it for themselves.
Yeah, of course. So it's a point and click adventure. No surprises there because we are in this podcast. Yeah. And the story revolves around Sarah. She's a woman who is found by the road that leads to a town called Antaconia. And when she's rescued by Karim, one of the other characters in town, they discover that she has amnesia, retrograde amnesia. It's a particular type of amnesia. She can remember like who's the president and so on, but she cannot remember specific things about her past.
Yeah.
And then as the story unfolds, she starts to recover pieces of her memory and so on. And then, of course, there's going to be mysteries ahead, and she will figure out who she really is, and then things get complicated, of course. And so one of the things that are interesting about this town is that the locals reject the internet, and also to some extent modern technology, but the internet in particular is something that they don't like.
Okay, yeah, I remember. So I've played the demo, and I've also played quite a bit of the game because you very kindly gave me a key for that. So thank you. So I'll keep it spoiler free because I don't want people to know more than they should do, especially as the game's not out. But yeah, I thought the setting being like an internet free place and sort of that attitude towards technology is a very cool idea, because a lot of adventure games coming out now revolve around current technology and future technology. So it's very interesting to play an environment that isn't based on that. So I thought that was really cool. But you've got a release date of the 8th of July, I believe, which is 10 days from when we're doing this interview. So how are you feeling about that? What sort of emotions and thoughts are going through your mind at the moment?
Oh, of course I'm super excited. I want to press the button like now,
Yeah.
but also really nervous to see what the adoption is going to be by players. Are they going to like it or not? We did, of course, a ton of testing, and we already got feedback from many people, and we know that some people, at least the ones who play the game so far, like it.
Yeah.
But you never know how everybody else is going to react, right? So yeah, this combination of excited and also nervous.
Yeah, I can imagine it's probably a little bit scary, isn't it, to finally put all that hard
It
work
is,
out there
yeah.
into
We
the
got
world.
actually the green light from Steam like 2 days ago.
Right. Okay.
Like they actually told us, okay, now you can press the button whenever you want. And of course, we left a little bit of margin in case things would take longer and so on. And also because we wanted to talk to press and creators such as you guys. So yeah, we left a little bit of margin, but not having the button there is so tempting.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. And sort of I'm on your sort of mailing list, so I've been seeing the updates you post once a week and things, and seeing you sort of starting with the bugs and then sort of reducing the bugs down to the final product. So are you there now in terms of it being release ready, or is there a couple of little things you want to iron out, or like are you pretty much good to go, do you think, and just waiting for that release date?
No, we are good to go. Yeah. We started with, I don't know, something like $300 or so,
Yeah.
which is far from the 10,000 that Ron Gilbert mentioned about
I saw
Return
that,
to
yeah.
Monkey Island. But yeah, and we already removed all of them. And yeah, but of course we keep playing it all the time just in case something pops up. And I think last week we found a couple of them in dialogue. They weren't like breaking bugs or anything, just a couple of lines of dialogue that we thought, okay, this could be a little bit confusing, so let's fix it. So yeah, we are in this sort of test again. If there is something we can polish, we polish. Otherwise, it's ready for release. Yeah.
Excellent. That's good news. So we've spoken before a little bit about your history with game dev, but I'm sure there are people who are listening or watching who won't know. So why don't you give us a bit of a brief history about how you got involved with making games in the first place, and then up to this point now where you're releasing your first commercial game?
Sure. So back in the far past, when I was 6 years old, I played. Well, my father came with the first computer home. It was a super old Amstrad CPC 464
Yeah.
with 64 kilobytes of RAM, not megabytes, not gigabytes, kilobytes.
The old days.
The old days. I mean, it's funny because if you are if you are a programmer or you like computers and you do the math, 64K wasn't even enough to put all the pixels that you can have on the screen.
Yeah.
So it was really challenging to code for that computer. And yeah, so my father would bring these video games and I play them and so on. But like really soon I started to develop an interest for the programming side of things. And the reason, I think one of the reasons at least, is that those computers used to come with manuals. And those manuals weren't just how do you plug the computer to the keyboard and so on. No, it was way more advanced. It had like code, and it would teach you how to code and how to do like very advanced kind of stuff. And the problem in this case is that it had two manuals. One was in Spanish, which when I was 6 was the only thing I could speak or read. Barely read actually. And the one in Spanish didn't have like very advanced concepts. It had a little bit of code you could copy and paste. And then it had another one in English, and that was the one that would teach you like the real good stuff. And that was inaccessible to me. I couldn't read that one. But yeah, despite that, I would just copy and paste some of the code and then modify it. And over time, I actually figured out how to write conditional code and make very simple games. And yeah, I was at some point I was more interested in trying to make my own games, even though they were super simple, like kind of text only, guess a number, maybe a little bit of card games, but very simple as well. That I was more interested into that than playing the games that my father kept bringing home.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, then at some point I got the opportunity to go to university, And I asked around. I asked my father, and he said, "Well, there are a few options, and if you want to go with computers, there is only one option you can choose." And I picked that one. And yeah, the thing is that then during the university, the professors actually got this idea out of my mind about making video games, because I don't know, they were kind of old fashioned, and they thought that video games were not a serious thing at all.
Right. Yeah.
And I actually got lost interest in video games because of them. But then afterwards, towards the end, I had this one teacher who was super awesome, and he actually told me, no, that's BS, right? Ignore them. Actually, video games are some of the hardest pieces of software that you can make.
Yeah.
But still, I got into computer graphics because it was the closest thing to video games without being video games. And I started working on that for a few years, and like 5 years, I think, in a research facility at the university where they did virtual reality back in the day.
Okay.
And like back in the day when virtual reality would give you serious headache and so on. So we had to do most of the development with a regular screen and only put the headset for 5 minutes. Otherwise, it was really, really bad. And after that, I got another opportunity to work in a company outside of the university where they were doing movies, like CGI movies, and some movies combining real footage with CGI. And there I was building tools for all the artists to do all the creative work, which is what's very useful now that I'm creating my own tools for myself to do video games. So that experience was super valuable. And I spent another 5 years, kind of magical number for me. And then, so in this context, when you work in CGI, you work with people from all around the world, because people jump from project to project trying to find the coolest projects they can work on. So I was working for people from Canada, the UK, Australia, like France, everywhere in the world.
Wow, yeah.
And I thought I want that for myself. I also want to have that experience of working in other places, meeting other people, other cultures, and so on. And I started sending my resume everywhere. I started with the US because at the time I thought, oh, the US is kind of the the peak for computer scientists, right?
Yeah.
And nobody called me back. So then I started sending my resume to Europe. And already I start with Google and Facebook, and both of them called me back.
Excellent.
I started the process with both of them, and I didn't go very far with Facebook. I also wasn't applying to software engineer. I didn't know exactly what I was applying to, but it was something like developer advocate or something like that. And they realized that's not your thing.
Right.
But with Google, I actually applied to software engineer, and I moved forward, and I actually got the job, and they hired me in Zurich.
Yep.
And I spent there 9 years, and during that time I wasn't doing anything closely or remotely related to video games, and I was missing that so much that I actually released 3 games while I was working for them because I needed to do that. So in my free time I was doing video games. And after 9 years working for them, I didn't use the magical 5 this time. My wife and I, we both decided to go back to Spain. She always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I always wanted to work in video games. So we decided to, okay, since we are going back, this is a great time to kind of restart our career in some way. And we decided to build Aruma Studios. And our first project as a kind of real company, so to speak. You sense a little bit of imposter syndrome there, right? In that sentence. So but our first real project is Intruder in Antaconia, and that's how we got to this point.
That's right. Yeah. So the games you did before, I remember you said Quantum Derail, the one you did before, was for like a games competition sort of thing, wasn't it? So this is the first one that you've done as an actual product to sell to people. So I mean, how is that?
Sort of. Not the first one we wanted to sell, but the first one which actually can sell.
Okay, right, yeah. So I mean, how is that process differed in terms of like the work itself that you've had to put in? Has it been a completely different pressure knowing that this is something that you're going to ask people to pay for compared to some of the other stuff that you released for free as just a bit of fun?
Absolutely, yes. Because once we know, okay, we are spending our own money in this because we are not artists, so we have to hire artists to do all the art for the game. In Quantum Derail, I was doing the art and it shows. And I got a little bit of help from a friend of mine who's artist, who would guide me a little bit, but in the end most of the art is made by me, and it's not amazing, right? So for this one, we actually wanted to hire people and have very good quality, and precisely because we wanted the game to sell. But also because you are hiring people and you are putting your own money there, you want to make sure that this money can come back at some point to you.
Of course, yeah.
So that adds a lot of pressure indeed, and we are always trying to grow the wish list to have the best chance possible at recouping our investment. And well, I mean, it's a business, so now we have all the concerns that you have when you're running a business, like money. You care about the money, fine.
Yeah.
And and also because of that, we are taking testing way more seriously. If I think I remember that when I asked you to play Quantum Derail, that version actually had a huge bug.
It did, yeah, it did, with the graffiti artist.
That was already unacceptable back then, but now I'm taking it way more seriously. That I think would never happen now with the way we do testing and the way we take it much more seriously.
Yeah, you've done quite a bit of sort of testing with asking people to play through parts of the game and things like that. I mean, how have you found that? Has it been enjoyable to work with people and get their feedback on the game?
Yeah, absolutely. We did it in two different ways. For the demo, we actually send out the demo to people and ask them, hey, play it, and then give us feedback, like offline, asynchronously. And for the full game, we did it differently. We asked for like volunteers, and we got a few of them, and then we selected 5 because it takes more time the way we do it. And so what we asked these 5 people to do is to play the way you and I are talking right now over VC. So they would be playing the game, and they would be sharing the screen with us. We would see what they are doing, and we could talk through that play. And this kind of play testing was way more insightful for us. Actually, we got way more out of these 5 people than, I don't know, 20 or so that played the demo before. And I think part of the reason is that you see, as a developer, you see a lot of bugs as they happen that people don't even realize that are bugs, because sometimes something weird happens, but they might think, okay, maybe that's the way the game was made, right? And then maybe only at the end of the game things don't match up, and then it's like, oh, maybe at some point there was a bug, but I didn't realize. But we do know every single bug that happens on the screen. And so like most of this 300 list of bugs came out of these 5 people. By watching them play and being able to ask questions. Like something we would ask all the time was, hey, what do you think the goal of the game is right now? What are you trying to achieve? What do you think is the puzzle that you're solving? And they would tell us all of that, and then we know, okay, is the objective clear or is it confusing? Can we improve? That was super valuable.
Yeah, I can imagine. Was it quite a nerve-wracking experience, would you say, going through that, sitting down with somebody and watching them play the game and seeing bits and pieces that you think, oh, we've got to fix that? And what was that like? Was it?
So it is. I mean, it's not nerve-wracking or anything. I don't know. Maybe this is because I'm used to getting feedback for my work, and I see it always with a positive lens. Like whenever something breaks or something is not working right or they're confused or whatever, I always see it as a positive. I said, okay, we got that back now. Users will not get it when they play it.
Yeah, it's true. It's the way you
so
look
I
at
I always see it that way, and then for me, it's always like a pleasure to see that they find something wrong or something confusing, because that's the whole point. We don't do the testing to see that the game is good. We do the testing to find the bugs and fix them before other people will see them. Yeah,
it's very true. I mean, you've been involved with things like Steam Next Fest as well, haven't you? So, I mean, did you find that useful as a developer? Did you find being involved in those sort of festivals were helpful for you to get your sort of players to find the game and wishlist it and things?
Yeah, some more than others actually. And the next fest wasn't particularly. It wasn't the best. So we participated so far in the big adventure event, the buy, also the Steam Next Fest, and also the Women's Day Steam event.
Mm-hmm.
And the best by far was the Women's Day Steam event. I think the reason is that it was the smallest of them all. It had fewer games showcased at the same time, so it was easy for us to be always there, always visible. They also had a feature on Steam through the entire week, so we got tons and tons of eyes in our game.
Okay.
And we did a live stream, and we got our live stream to the front page of Steam thanks to them, thanks to this event.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. And I think the second one in terms of wishlist and so on was the big adventure event, because it's very specific to adventures. And then the next fest was good. We got quite a few wishlists, but it wasn't as good as the other ones because it's more generic, right? And it has way more content. So you are still buried there underneath a huge pile of AAA titles and indies, but like triple I indies.
Yeah, I can imagine actually. There's a lot of people who go for Steam Next Fest and things, aren't there? Sort of in all different genres. So perhaps sort of a more narrowed down approach for the exact target audience you're looking for is more helpful.
Yeah. We try to participate in other events, but you don't always get selected. So we were lucky with these 3 ones, and we'll see in the future what we get.
Yeah. So I mean, let's talk a little bit about adventure games in general now, because I know you are a big fan of adventure games and things. So what was the game that sort of started it all off for you? What was the one that you played that you thought, adventure games, yes, I really like these?
I mean, I don't want to say Monkey Island because it's what everybody says,
you can
right?
say Monkey
and
Island.
Actually, no, there was one before that, and it's called the Abbey of Crime. It's a game that was released first in Spain. I don't know if it took too much, if it went outside of Spain too much. Probably not much. I mean, it has an English title, so probably it was released outside, but I don't think it was very popular outside. In Spain, it was super popular. It's based on the book The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco. And it's not a point-and-click adventure in the sense that we understand modern point-and-click adventures, because back then we didn't have a mouse to play with a computer, so you have to play with the keyboard. But the mechanics were very, very similar to what we understand today as a point-and-click adventure. So that was like the first one, and it was one of the few games that I had there that I would always go back and try to play a bit more and try to make progress. All the other games I would get like bored of them super quickly and go back to trying to program the computer, but this one I would always come back to and try to finish it. And yeah, after that, I think the first one that came to my home already when I had a PC was Monkey Island. And I remember that one with a lot of nostalgia because I used to play with my father. And we were kind of competitive against one another, trying to get ahead. And he would play a little bit when I was in the school and maybe or in the weekend, and then I would go back and I would play when he's not home. And each one of us was trying to get ahead of the other one and try to finish the game first. And that kind of competitive behavior was super cool, and it was bonding also for us. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I remember as well. You don't get it so much now with games, I think, but certainly that sort of adventure game era is playing with friends or family there and trying to sort of be the first to work out how to solve all of the puzzles. And I think that was a really cool thing about adventure games, is it sort of encouraged teamwork, didn't it, with other people. So yeah, I mean, in terms of like the first Monkey Island game, was that the one that you first got into, The Secret of Monkey Island?
Yeah, that was the first of the saga that I played.
Okay.
And I actually played it very soon after it was released.
Okay, yeah. So would you say that's your favorite of the series because of the nostalgia, or?
Yeah, I think because of the nostalgia, that's my favorite one. And then there is Monkey Island 2, which I also like. And then I tried to play the other ones, but none of them hooked me. And I think back then the change in style, and I know that this is a very hot topic right now, but the change in style back then actually put me off, and I was already taking those games like with the wrong foot. I didn't want to like them, and I think that influenced me. And I want to play them again today because, of course, I have a different perspective of things, and I don't mind games changing style. So yeah, I want to pick them again and give them another chance.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely worth, especially the third one. It is a lot of fun. It's a big change from the first two, but it is a pretty solid game. So, I mean, you mentioned a bit of a hot topic there, which is, of course, Return to Monkey Island. How has that affected your planning for Intruder and Antaconia?
Oh, I mean, the first source of stress I have these days is actually watching with this eye what Ron is doing and seeing if he announces anything. Because I want to, I mean, everybody wants to make sure they don't release on the same week. And the reason, of course, is because the press is going to be looking at them exclusively and ignoring everybody else, right? So that's the reason I don't want to be on the same week. On the other hand, I am really looking forward to this game. I want to play it. I mean, as a fan of Monkey Island, and also because I think Ron created all these expectations that he's going to cater a lot to the fans of the first two. So, and I am a big fan of the first two. So I'm really looking forward to playing that game. But yeah, as an indie developer, I'm scared that he might do something on the week of July 8th that will bring all the press to him.
So just suddenly drop it out of nowhere, and all that hard work and preparation. But I think you'll be okay. I think you'll be fine. I mean, I'm going to leave, for anyone who wants to wishlist the game and everything, I'm going to leave links down in the description below the video, and I know Michael will on his version of the video too, so that people can, is the demo available at the moment, or is it? Yeah, it is. So it's still available if people want to play the demo as well, and go down there and give it a try. I mean, so was there anything else you wanted to specifically talk about? I'll sort of cut this bit out.
No, that's it. I mean, of course, the plug, please play the demo if you think this game sounds interesting, and if you like what you see, please add it to your wishlist. It helps a lot, especially for indie devs who struggle to grow our wishlists. And
play the demo, go and wishlist it, buy the game when it comes out as well, and support indie devs. So, Ruben, thank you very much for joining me today. It's been really good fun having you on here, chatting about all of the adventure games, Intruder and Antaconia. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you. And thanks also to Michael for inviting me to the show.
No worries. So that was my interview with Ruben from Aruma Studios about Intruder in Antaconia. What did you think about that interview, Michael?
I was just smiling. As we record this, I haven't watched it yet because it was just Turian doing it. Of course, I had work commitments on that day, so I couldn't do it, and I haven't had a chance to catch up. But by the time this podcast comes out, I would have absolutely watched it because I'm going to watch it directly after this. However, I must say I have been following this game for quite a while, and it's one of the games I'm actually playing as well, and I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, I'm about halfway through, I think.
Okay.
It's the art style's pretty cool. The story seems nice. It seems fairly I wouldn't say linear, but it seems like a fairly nice casual game. Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I think I've actually completed it, been the whole way through. It's relatively linear, and the puzzles are quite easy for the most part. But I think I would describe it as an accessible game for the genre, for people who haven't played adventure games before and want to dip their toes in the water. Good starting point, because you're not going to get stuck on an impossible puzzle and go, screw this. I'm not playing adventure games, are too difficult. It's something that's also just nice if you feel like kicking back for an hour in the evening, think if you have a busy day, just want to play an adventure game but not get stressed out about solving puzzles that are too difficult. Definitely the type of game to play. But the story's really good, slowly uncovering the mystery of who the main character is. I won't give away any spoilers or anything, but it's good. It's nice pacing. You get these little flashbacks that reveal just little snippets, and you think, what, I need to know just a bit more. So you have to keep playing to uncover more. And yeah, the characters are cool. I like the setting. I think it's a good, fun little game. And it's nice actually. I don't know if you're on the mailing list for Aruma at all.
I don't think I am. I tend to go on as many as I possibly can, but I don't think I am on this one.
Okay, yeah. So sort of before they made the game, Ruben did a lot of market research with adventure game players and YouTubers and things like that, just asking for sort of what they like and don't like about adventure games. And after, I think it's been 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks since it came out, he sent out an update a couple of days ago, basically going through everything that him and his wife have learned from the game and everything that they feel like they should do better on the next game.
Okay.
Which is quite nice, because normally devs sort of release a game and they might go a bit quiet.
Yeah.
Whereas he's gone straight in and like, we made this game. I think we need to do this, and this better next time. And they're looking at it with a really critical view. I think it's quite nice to see them admit, we could probably have done that a bit better than we did, and maybe we won't do that next time. And they're already talking about a follow-up game potentially to this one, a sequel or something set in the same sort of universe, which would be pretty cool, I think.
That sounds good. I like the idea of that, like just basically owning it. Like, say that, we did this well, however, we could have done this better. I'm definitely going to sign up to that mail list. So that's out. That's out now. It came out a couple of weeks ago.
Was it the 8th of July it came out?
8th of July. I think that's right. Yeah, 8th of July. So that was Intruder in Antaconia, and I will watch that interview now. I was so gutted because I was literally, it was about half an hour before we had to do the interview, and I was like, oh crap, I've got this thing, should only take 5 minutes. It took a couple of hours, and so I'm gutted to miss that. So hopefully I can catch up with you, Ruben, if you're watching, listening, in a future podcast. So what about your channel? What are you up to for the next couple of weeks and months on your channel? What you got planned?
So I will be hopefully finishing Space Quest 6 soon.
Is it dragging on? Is it? You keep saying it's a bit of a chore.
It's weird. Like, the game feels so disjointed. There's this first section of the game where you get put on shore leave and you just get dumped on this planet and not told anything what you need to do. It's all very all over the place. And then once you get past that first bit, you go onto your ship, and suddenly it feels like Space Quest again, and it's funny, and it's got the humor and the deaths and everything, and then it just becomes disjointed again. And you can always feel, I think it was Josh Mandel did some of it, and then Scott Murphy came back to do other bits that after Josh left, and it just feels broken up to me. It's like an almost game, and it's a shame that it's the final Roger Wilco game, and I was hoping it'd be like, yes, Roger goes out with a bang sort of thing, and it's just a bit like not a bit of a shame really. But I mean, every game series, if you've got 6 games in it, is gonna have a bad one, isn't it? More than likely. So when that ends, probably Toonstruck, I would imagine.
Really?
Dive into. So I've not played that one before, but I've heard very good things about it.
It's good fun, that one. Toonstruck. Christopher Lloyd, classic. I love him as Doc. Awesome. So Toonstruck. I'm going to continue with Broken Sword. I'm only about halfway through. It feels like I've had to stop because I've only had like one episode in the past 10 days or so. So I'm still, I think I'm in Syria. Okay, so it's about halfway through. So that's my plan, and then probably a couple of Monkey Island videos if I can wedge them in, and that couple of videos about all the adventure games. I think I've even created a hashtag. What was it? I think it was every adventure. I can't even remember now. There's a hashtag. Follow me on Twitter. So basically, I've done Mystery House. I'm halfway through Wizard and Princess. I've just got to do the videos for them.
Okay.
And again, this comes back to you being super organized and me not, because I have like 27 different projects on the go at different stages, and none of them are near finish. So hopefully I just need to be I need someone like you to be on my back and be like, Michael, do it now. Seriously. Stop what you're doing. Do it now. Forget that other series that you're doing there. So that's me. In terms of like let's play stuff, it's still going to be Broken Sword. Actually, I just remembered one thing. I'm wearing this Simon the Sorcerer t-shirt, which is an awesome t-shirt. This is not a plug, although you can buy it down below. I am an affiliate of 7 Squared. I'm saying this because I've been invited to stream on their charity weekend, which is the 29th, 30th, and 1st of August. Basically, it's in about a week or so. So by the time this comes out, it will be happening. So I'm streaming on the 29th, 10 o'clock in the morning UK time, and I'm going to be playing Simon the Sorcerer. Nice. So I haven't played it since about 20 years ago. So it's going to be fun, and it's all to raise money for Saving Our World, which is a charity which raises money for mental health, specifically for gaming, for gamers and stuff like that. So I'll be talking about my journey into games and how I got into games and things like that. So yeah, if you want to go and follow me on Twitch, I'll be streaming that. And it's also another excuse for me to get back onto Twitch, because about a month ago I was just like, I'm going to get back into Twitch, and then I did a big stream playing Fate of Atlantis, and then I didn't go on it again. It's just yeah, it's one of those things. So if you want to come and watch me play Simon the Sorcerer, and yeah, probably muck up several times, then join me over on Twitch, 10 a.m. UK time, 29th of July. And again, I'll leave all the links down below. You can support Saving Our World. I'll leave all their links down there as well. Yeah, so that's a little plug, which I just remembered because of this T-shirt.
Yeah, that's good. It's nice to get involved in things like that, I think. So is it the original you're playing or the remaster?
It's the one that you can get on Steam. It's a remaster, but it's not been remastered like games are supposed to be remastered. I think basically they've put a filter on it, so everything has got a little blur to it. So it's not the best, but it's one I've got. It has, I presume, I've not downloaded it yet. It has got Chris Barry as Simon, which that's why I'm playing it, because it's just gonna be fun. It's not about completing the game. It's about having a good time with the community for this one and raising some money. Yeah. So we'll give that a go. Plus, we can also mention the fact that there is a new Simon the Sorcerer game on the way. So
yes, yeah, there is. Yeah. So it'd be exciting to hear more about that.
Yeah. So have you got any plans to enter the Twitch world at all?
Not really, no. I mean, I did some streaming on YouTube quite a while ago now. It's just finding the time to do it is the biggest thing for me, really. Yeah. Sort of you want to commit to at least sort of, over an hour. And sometimes I can't do it consistently, I think is the main issue that I face. Yeah. But it was good fun streaming. I think it's a nice way to sort of interact with people in real time while you're playing the games, which is, good fun to actually interact with viewers and things as people rather than just comments on videos and things. Yeah, exactly. I was the same thing as well. I streamed for a good 3 months, every Tuesday and every Thursday without fail. And then I stopped for one reason. I'll tell you why I stopped, because I got COVID. I remember now. And I was like, I'll be back in a couple of weeks. Yeah. And then didn't return till a month ago. That was October. So I had a good 6, 7, 8 months off. And then was like, I'm gonna be back now. And it's just time. Especially being YouTube stuff and recording a lot of stuff. But anyway, that's first world problems. So anyway, I think we've come to the end of today's episode. What I'd really be keen to hear from you guys in the comments is two things: did you play any of the games that we've mentioned, or the old school ones? And also, are there any really little known games that you've played that you want to bring light to, and we can maybe do like a follow-up episode in a couple of months or something? Yeah, it sounds good. Cool. Well, like I said, we did speak to Charlotte Sutherland from Cave Monsters about Lord Winklebottom, so we'll have that interview in the next episode. But until the next time, guys, have a great week, whatever it is. Lose my voice. And see you all later. Yeah.